that phenomenal set of brands. So let me welcome to the stage Head of Digital Analytics for Sky, Rob McLaughlin.
Thank you, Jen. And yeah, you've definitely got the Kool-Aid there. I'll try and give you a really sort of deep look into how we do some of what we do and how we're trying to understand our customers. It's a great event, by the way, Summit. I can't believe we're only in the sort of end of the first day, walking around in the pavilion downstairs. I just can't get through there in less than about 35 minutes with all the conversations and everything like that. It's great. So, look, I just want to give you an insight into why, as head of digital analytics, I focus on creating an omni-channel view of our customers, why it's important to our business, and how we do it. So sort of betray some of the fundamentals which underpin our strategy in creating an omni-channel model. Now, I joined Sky mainly because we've got 22 million customers creating huge amounts of data. And for me, from a digital analytics background, that's the sexiest thing which I could possibly imagine. And you know what? I mean, we've got massive business objectives which we need to purpose that data towards. But in terms of like an analyst challenge for my team, it's just fantastic. And we're joined by 30,000 people with a huge array of talents, from digital through to sort of traditional analyst backgrounds. And it's just fantastic bringing those two worlds together. It's pretty fundamental for us why omni-channel is important. So 71% of our customers use 3 or more channels to interact with us. And I'm discounting the passive channels. Okay, so that's not sitting in front of the TV, consuming TV. That's when our customers reach out to us and want to speak to us. And frankly, our customers have always wanted to do that. This is not a new thing. It's just that organizations like Sky and the rest of the industry have woken up and are starting to fully embrace this. And we can see evidence of our customers throughout the decades reaching out to us in the channels we make available, also searching us out in channels which we didn't even formally create, and wanting to do business with us and have conversations with us. So it's hugely important for us. So I want to share with you the 5 fundamentals which underpin my strategy, the things which I talk about every day with my team and my stakeholders, and why they're important to us, and what we actually do with them. So I'll show you some of the results of that. So probably my biggest obsession in work is the concept of a unified customer identification. Okay, and I actually take it really seriously. So if we're collecting data points across our ecosystem where we're not capturing the identity of the customer, I really have to understand why. Because when it comes to exploiting our data and getting value from it, unless we're able to bring it back to a customer profile, it's completely valueless. And yes, I absolutely see the opportunities for optimization at scale and things like that, but even at that level, we want to understand the who behind the what. And without identification, it's completely useless. And that's where we hugely rely on the Adobe concept of Marketing Cloud ID, for example, and derived ID to be able to build frameworks of identity. And I'll talk about that more in a sec. We create a common currency for user journeys, and we try and revisit some of the fundamentals behind our business, some of the stuff which has always been there. So whilst you can perform some activities across our contact center, the web, our mobile apps, and interactive TV, it's the same back-end systems which are actually delivering those services. And when we map that, we're actually able to create this common currency, which allows us to bring together multiple channels of behavior back to the individual customer. You already see with just 2 of those fundamentals, you're starting to build something. Then we've massively embraced the onboarding and offboarding of customer data into the Adobe Marketing Cloud. Onboarding through Audience Manager. So we're pushing vast amounts of first-party customer data into Audience Manager, and also with Campaign as well. And I'm always joking that at Sky we managed to have 2 implementations of Campaign at the same time across our business, which just makes it all the more interesting for us. And also pulling that data back, so being able to take it back into our insight and decision science operation, where we can understand the effectiveness of campaigns and things like that, bringing in all our offline data in econometrics as well. Whilst we're smashing all of this data together and creating views and making decisions for our customers, we have to maintain a single data truth, because even more now in the shadow of GDPR, we're going to be asked to be able to pull all of this apart and understand where it's coming from, as well as just for us to be able to optimize models and things like that. We really want to be able to continue to govern and have a clear understanding of why we've chosen to decide what for an individual customer. And just lastly, and this is a real passion for me, is really having a laser focus on where real-time data and real-time decision are necessary in our business. Because there are absolutely brilliant use cases for it, and we want to support that. But on the other hand, it's heavy on infrastructure, it's heavy on resource, and we can do a huge amount with lower cycle technology, where the cadence of data and decisioning is slower. So just embracing those use cases, and frankly, they'll often come across as the lower-hanging fruit, the stuff which we can do super quick. So why are we doing any of this? It's so that we can completely reimagine the way that we interact with our customers throughout the customer journey, all the way through before acquisition to acquisition in life, and throughout the whole customer life cycle. And also to be able to feed into product development as well, because we are largely a technology company as well, so being able to feed these insights back into how we develop our propositions is hugely important. So, coming back to this concept of identity, we're able to create a hierarchical device graph for our customers. And frankly, the concept of the household in the telco sector has always been essential. But we're now looking at being able to pull apart the component people of the household to be able to understand who does what and why. And just to give an example, which hopefully illustrates this, is if we take viewing behavior, for example. In a household, we might have the Premiership football games being watched, thriller movies, Peppa Pig, and reality TV all going. And you know what? That's awesome, because we're collecting that data, we're being able to analyze it and apply machine learning to it. But if we only do that, we're going to have a pretty schizophrenic understanding of the customer, okay? And it's only when we're able to pull their household apart by their individual people, and then we're able to understand what we're going to promote to who. And that's, of course, key in servicing. The bill payer is absolutely not necessarily the person who kind of supports the product, who has issues with the product or wants to buy something. So it's really powerful for us, and also for our media business as well. Being able to unlock the component parts to be able to advertise to the individuals rather than to the household is massive. And talking about things like addressable TV, well, addressable TV largely focuses traditionally on the household. Well, addressable TV to the individual is hugely more powerful. So, when I talk about common customer journeys and identifiability, we're able to bring together a omni-channel, what my team call an omni-channel battleground for the way that we interact with our customers. And that's going to allow us to move beyond a segmented approach to dealing with customers. Now, what you see here is just an imprint of our 22 million customers and their interactions with our organization. And of course, we've got this at the individual level for the customer. So being able to move beyond thinking that we've got some customers who like to call us, some customers who are happier to go online, and creating sort of macro segments, we can shoot right down to the one-to-one level. We've developed our data in a way which absolutely enables us to do that. And just to go back to that common currency for journeys as well, we're able to bring it all together in a way which gives us comparability. And of course, fueled by customer identification again. We have got really quickly into a place where we're talking about smashing multiple data sets together, and data sets which we create and we would call first party, and then data sets which are third party, which we buy from our partners and things like that. And that's just a sort of an observation. It's been really important to be able to go back to the fundamentals of what this data is. When I'm going to senior management, having conversations with what we're able to do and how we're able to do it, it's super important to be able to come back to where this data is coming from and how we can mix it together. There was a great session earlier from my colleague Sandy talking about how we merge together the anonymous and known profiles, actually something which Aidan was talking about earlier. And that, again, it's so important we're able to trace back to why we know what we know about the customer. And also, again, in terms of GDPR and privacy in general, and just trying not to be creepy, we want to be able to be very transparent about how we know what we know about the customer so that we can give our actions some sort of context in that. Also, an observation and something which has been really important to us in working with Adobe and other partners, whilst there are phenomenal technologies available which promise huge amounts of machine learning and sort of almost like amazingly advanced black box technology, we want to maintain ownership of how we make our big decisions with our customers. And then we want to be able to plug in to complementary technologies which allow us to deliver those decisions at the right time and in the right way. And it was something, talking yesterday at the Partner Day and talking about what the best way to work with our partners is like we want to retain, Sky as the enterprise wants to retain responsibility for the innovation that we make and what we do. We want to work with great talented people outside of our organization as well, but it's super important that we remain accountable and have ownership for what we're doing. So being able to build our platforms and our models and then work alongside partners is super important. Now, why are we doing any of this? Like I said before, it's so that we can reimagine our approach to working with the customer. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. So